Welcome to the Adoption Lounge. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Katie. Thank you so much for joining us again. Amanda.
Katie? Katie has a plane pull this weekend.
Oh, I do. We're doing the plane pull for Special Olympics for my son Reese. This is something we started organizing after we did it in Denver, and we thought it was so cool. And so you get to actually go out to O'Hare and pull a 747, and then you're kind of judged your team on how quickly. I want you to know I'm not invited to be on the...
Is it because you're not strong?
It's because I'm not strong, I think. I'm very suspicious that it's because I'm not strong. But also, someone has to watch the child. We should pick the stronger representative.
Well, honestly, I think I could pull a plane by myself. I'm super strength.
I feel like we could pull the plane on, sheer audacity.
Yeah.
And, I can move an entire couch by myself. When I've decided it needs to be moved. Immediately.
Yep.
Not everyone's on the same page, and I'm like, well, I'll handle it myself.
Exactly. That's why I think I could do it.
For risk of injury. Doesn't matter. What have you been up to?
Oh, not much. Not much.
You have a special anniversary coming up.
I do. Katie's anniversary is coming up.
Yeah. Are we sharing anniversaries? My wedding anniversary is on Monday. It'll be 13 years. So it's probably unlucky.
Well, no.
So fingers crossed.
But I'm super excited that we have a special, two special guests today, Candice and Erin. So they adopted with us, and we are going to let them tell their story. Candice, Erin, how are you?
Thanks for being here.
Hi.
You're like, you may talk now. Please save us from ourselves.
So why don't you start out by telling us what led you to adoption?
We tried through our doctors to get pregnant for a little bit.
Yeah.
But we had always talked since we first met that our hearts were more for adoption. So that's kind of what started the whole thing.
My roommate in college, who I'm still best friends with, was adopted at birth. And
that's really cool.
That kind of always was a hearts pulled at a heartstring of mine. And so obviously Candice and I, when we had talked about children, we were going to try, but we weren't going to spend years and years trying. If it didn't work, when we weren't lucky, we were going to go the other route of adoption. So that's what led us here.
Oh.
Yeah, that's awesome. And what was the research process like when you decided to start pursuing adoption?
We wanted somewhere where we would feel comfortable as a gay couple. So that's really how we found Lifelong. And from the moment we reached out to the very end, we just felt very supported, and we had a good process, I feel like.
Oh, good.
We love that.
Did you get to work with Amanda? Did you work with them?
Did.
We did, yes.
Oh, that's cute.
So they better.
Yes.
I paid them off to say they had a good...
They're like, of course they're going to say that.
I had to
She
talk with
paid
them
us under the
beforehand.
table, don't worry.
Say nice things.
She's like, here's your pre-approved script. Oh, that's cute. And so can I ask, when you first got started in the beginning, what do you feel like was the most challenging part? Like, do you think it was making the profile, doing the home study?
I don't know what was most challenging. I mean, at first, when we first did our initial meeting, everything that was I know we were told we'll help you along the way, but it was everything that was thrown at us, we were all like, oh my gosh, what did we just sign up for? All the checklists of everything we had to do and get in line, and I don't know, I think just all the steps along the way, you're just afraid that something is gonna snag it. You're waiting for some random thing to pop up, they come to your house and they don't like that you don't have, the outlet protectors in yet, or something like that, and it would just snag it along the way, I think was our biggest stressor along the way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I worry about that too. I always think about doing a home study, and I'm like, I feel like it's like going through TSA. You're going to find something that I know I don't have, but I still feel like
Exactly.
it's going to happen.
As long as you give me time to fix it, I'm good.
Well, that's what I always tell families too.
That's what we're like, do we need to have it baby proofed? I mean, we're hopefully getting an infant, but if we don't get an infant, we'll make the house okay. But
Oh no, you can just learn along with the rest of us, right? I mean, I feel like baby proofing is a little bit of trial and error because you never know what your specific baby is going to be.
That's true. You never know what they're going to want to get into.
Their particular brand of chaos.
Exactly. Yes.
So take us through the process. How many opportunities did you have? How many expectant moms did you speak with before you ultimately had a placement?
Yeah, so we were matched. I think our home study was done in December, and we were matched in January. But that fell through after we had hired like the lawyer to like check things out, and she came back and she's like, I don't think this is the best opportunity for you. So that was a little heartbreaking. And then, okay, so we were matched with Harper's mom in April. And we were on the way out of town with our family, and we were going to an area where there was no cell phone reception. And we got a call from Lifelong right before we hit that like no reception spot, and we pulled over. And they were telling us about her, and Erin and I had a name picked out for if we had a girl. And the lady that we were talking to at Lifelong told us I'm so sorry. Told us the mom's name. And it was the exact name that we had picked out for our daughter.
Oh my gosh.
So
What are the odds
that
of
to
that?
us
I know.
was like I
Yeah.
because it's not a common
It's a
name.
very unique name, yeah.
And so yeah. So back to the question, we offered 2 times. But yeah, that was that's something we'll always remember. We just kind of looked at each other and our mouths dropped and we were like, this is crazy.
That is that.
yeah.
Do you want to share? Do you care if you share the name? What is the name?
No, her name was Montana Grace. And that was
That's a pretty
exactly what
name.
we wanted to name
That's
our
not a
daughter.
common name, so you're right. That
The
was
whole name is the same? That's so
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah, it was pretty wild when we got that phone call. So
Yeah, we evidently we changed her first name, but
we didn't end
we
up
kept-
naming our child.
Yeah.
Our child's name's Harper. We didn't name her
Yeah.
Montana, but we
Yeah.
kept the middle name Grace because that was Montana's middle name, and so we did it out of respect for her. And then that was a name that we loved also. So
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's really
Harper's
cool.
a gorgeous name.
So it's
Harper
pretty
Grace.
wild
That's
for us.
pretty. So take us through getting to know your birth mom. What was that like talking with her, getting to know her?
Yeah, was it a long connection or?
yeah, we matched with Montana in April, and Harper came in September. So we had,
You had
and
some
at
time.
first Montana had told us that she was choosing between us and 2 other families, I think. And so, and again, like Candice said, the first time we got matched with her, we were at an area with no reception. So we were kind of freaking out a little bit because we were trying to
Oh, you
sneak
felt
away
like
to
you were
find
already
reception so
behind.
we could send some text. Yeah,
Like,
to
oh,
start that
no!
conversation. But no, it went great. I did most of the communicating with Montana, and I mean, we talked every day. We checked in on her. She filled us in on things, what was going on in her life. I think overall the best thing is that when it was all said and done, I felt like Candice and I were more like a big sister to her, someone that she could kind of come to, and we always tried to support her in no matter what she was doing, whether it was something that we thought was necessarily a good idea or a bad idea just in her personal life. We always tried to support her, and I think that has led us. I mean, we still talk to her periodically, maybe once a month or so now. We've stayed in contact with her.
I love that.
So yeah, I mean, and she shared one of the doctor's visits with the heartbeat. She recorded it for us.
She made the most special video for the gender reveal for us. Like,
Yeah.
there was a lot of thought put into it, so it was really special.
Yeah.
That's so sweet. I love that was the connection that you guys had.
And I'm sure you didn't care, but was it
Yeah.
fun finding
Yeah.
out it was a girl?
It was.
Yeah. It definitely was. It was something because we could be a part of it.
So what was it like? You're waiting for her to go into labor, so talk to us about once it got close to delivery and what that travel was like.
So we woke up one Saturday morning, and this was 6 weeks before the due date, and Montana texted us, and she's like, I think my water broke. And we were like, what do you mean you think your water broke? So we told her to go to the doctor, get checked out. We were frantically packed. We already had Harper's bag ready to go. So we were packing our stuff. We had a 10-hour drive, and we made it to her birth date an hour and a half after she was born. So,
And I always like to tell the funny story. We were packing, and mind you, it's in September, and Candice and I don't wear tennis shoes unless it's winter. But we're like throwing stuff together, and Candice is like, "How many pairs of socks do you think I should bring? 10?" And I was like, "We don't wear socks." Like, but she just was like so frantic.
I've never had to pack like this before.
I might need tennis shoes while I'm there.
I feel like this is how Amanda packs. But I love that Amanda packs this way because that means if I forget a lot of stuff, which is how I pack, she has to.
Yeah, I try to pack everything. You would think I was like moving out. Like,
And that's like what we were trying to do. Like, what do we need? We don't know how long we're going to be there.
I am good about the suitcase being at I know it needs to be at 49 pounds, and it comes in clutch every time.
It's honestly impressive. So what was it like?
We had planned on. We planned on driving. We knew where Montana lived, and so we had planned on driving because it was going to be a 10-hour drive. But just we thought that would be easier to carry and bring an infant back, and plus then we would have a car down there and everything. So we didn't have to worry about what to bring on a plane or not bring. So we just threw it all in the car.
Yeah,
that's so nice.
And then what was it like then? So you got there, you must have, like, did someone text you, I'm assuming, when you were still driving on the way there to find out that she had been born?
Yeah, Montana's sister was in charge of keeping us updated. And then once we got to the area where Harper was born, Montana's mom actually called and was like filling us in, and the doctor was in the room, and they were like giving us all the updates. And you never really know how much you lean on your support system until you're in the thick of things, because we got to the birth date and we were like deer in headlights. So thankfully we had friends and family that came down and would spend a few days with us to kind of like help us sort out our emotions and everything that was happening while we were there. So
that's really
that
nice.
helped a lot.
Yeah, it's great to have a good support system. It's important.
Yeah. Aw. So tell us about meeting Harper.
I definitely would recommend that. And I mean, I know that was something I think.
I'm sorry, there's kind of a delay.
Support system thing is something No, you guys are good. I think you guys, at some point in Lifeline, we were told, to have a support system. But like Candice said, when we got down there, since Harper was 6 weeks early, she was in the NICU. And so we had two different friends end up flying down to spend time with us. My mom came down to spend time with us. Like, it just, having that support of people, especially when you're going through the first 72 hours before Montana could sign papers, and just the emotions we were feeling, and then also concerned about Harper, who's in a NICU, and not having like people physically there, being able, you have no idea where you even are. Like my sister actually booked our hotel as we were driving down, because that wasn't something we even had planned on. We're like, we don't even know where we're going to stay. So my sister booked us a hotel. Like, just having that support system was so helpful.
Yeah. No, I love that. Was she at the NICU for a long time?
6 weeks, you said?
But she was 6 weeks early.
11 days. Yeah, she's 11 days.
Yeah.
Okay. So not too bad, I guess. I mean, if you have to be there anyway, but did she have any complications you were worried about?
No, they just had she had maybe a little hole in her heart that they wanted us to get checked here when we got home, but nothing ever came of it, so.
No.
Oh, yeah.
She just was early. So she was just tiny, 4 pounds. So they were keeping an eye on her.
Oh,
Little peanut.
yeah, I was gonna say that's a little peanut. And what was it like meeting her for the first time?
It was.
I mean, it was very surreal, I think, especially another story. Candice and I we'd scheduled a baby 101 class with our local children's hospital that we were to take the Friday actually after Harper was born. We had been around our nieces and nephews, but just holding an infant and feeding them and burping them and all that, we kind of knew, but didn't really know what we were doing.
Right.
And so when we got there, and seeing her for the first time was it was super surreal. Just that, that was going to be our daughter. And, the first time we actually got to see her, it wasn't visiting hours at the time, but they let us in, and she was kind of fussing a little bit in the incubator, whatever they call it. And Candice put her hand over finger in Harper's hand, and Harper kind of squeezed it and then stopped crying. And that was a
Oh.
pretty special moment that we shared with her.
I love that.
That's so sweet.
I know.
I love that too.
So what was one of the hardest things for you during the adoption process?
I think for me, being in her birth state and not everyone being on the same page as far as lawyers and rules, and there was actually 4 days where Harper was in the NICU and we weren't allowed to see her, and just like the lawyer that we had for Montana was giving us information that wasn't true because we knew Montana, and that I feel like miscommunication and
Yeah, a little bit. Like, I mean, they were saying that they wanted someone to come talk to Montana because they felt like she could be having second doubts, but Montana was texting us every day from the hospital. So where Harper was, where Montana gave birth, they didn't have a NICU, and so they sent Harper an hour away to the closest NICU location. And so we were in the town where the NICU was, and Montana was still in the hospital where she gave birth. And Montana was texting us, and she was just like, wish people would leave me alone. They keep pestering me about, am I making the right decision? And she's like, I know this is best. And so she was telling us honestly how things were going. And then, like I said, we were just getting a little bit of a different story, a little bit from our lawyer who was talking to a social worker. And in the state that she gave birth, we couldn't have contact with the child until the papers were signed. And the social worker didn't want Montana to sign the papers until Montana went and held the baby for the first time. And so that delayed Montana until Montana could get out of the hospital and then drive an hour to go see Harper. So she gave birth on a Saturday, and Montana didn't get to go see her until Thursday. And so it wasn't until really Thursday, late afternoon, evening, that we got to go see Harper for the first time. So for those like 5 days, that was where everything seemed like it was in limbo, but it wasn't in limbo. But it just that was tough for us. But
That's so stressful because then I feel like
it's a little bit different. And
yeah, I feel like nobody's supporting the baby then while they're in the NICU, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like it's like
Right.
health wise is very beneficial to have support in the NICU.
Sure.
It's always shown for babies, so that's just really unfortunate. Plus, I don't like any situation that kind of forces an expectant mom to do something she might not even want to do by making her feel like it's a requirement.
Yeah.
You know, I don't like that. It feels like a manipulative, because I have my own agenda kind of law.
Yeah.
But I'm glad it worked out.
I know there was
For everybody the way it's supposed to.
another baby in the NICU with Harper, and a few days after we got to see her, the dad of that baby was in there, and he was like, I'm so glad to see someone with her. It's been 4 days, and every time I come in here, she's alone. And I was like,
You were like, I know.
yeah.
You're like, sir.
Yeah, because I mean, like,
We're
I
well
know
aware.
I know she was in the NICU, but you still want her to have. I mean, the NICU nurses that were there were absolutely amazing. We could not say enough amazing things about them. They were phenomenal ladies. But like, you still wanted someone to be able to, you know, hold her and do the skin to skin and all those, you know, those types of things that are so important. And and I know 4 days in the scheme of things doesn't seem like, or 5 days doesn't seem like much, but it's still like it was hard. That part was hard.
4
And
days
that's why I was glad
forever in the NICU.
Yeah, exactly. And like that's where we were just sitting in a strange state in a strange town where we knew nothing, and that's where I was glad. Like, we talked about our support system where we had a couple friends come stay with us, and my mom came down, and so to have them just do things like take us out to dinner. We went to a movie with my mom just to keep our mind off of things while the process played out. Was yeah, that just the social worker we had was very old school from what we were told. And like they tried everything. The lawyer tried to get us to sign a power of attorney over Harper that Montana signed off on, but the social worker just wasn't having it. She wasn't going to let anything happen until Montana saw the child. So it was, that part was frustrating, but I mean, like I said, we thankfully had a good relationship with Montana, and we stayed in touch with her the whole time, and she kept filling us in on what she was hearing. And she even asked us, she's like, have you been able to see her? And we're like, no, we haven't. And she was like, oh, I thought you could just go see her. And we're like, well, we just kind of have to follow the rules here, so we'll just do what they tell us. So
Yeah, you don't want to jeopardize anything
Sure. Yeah.
But that's so awful. You're like in a
Right.
state and you're like, I don't want to do anything wrong, but
right.
also.
And it's not like you've done this before, so you're just like,
Yeah.
well, what
Yep.
advice would you give to other adoptive parents?
I would say the big advice I give is just trust the process. I mean, that's what we just kept saying over and over again. Like, I mean, I know the process of, or I can't imagine the process of being a mom and deciding that you're giving your child up for adoption. Like, I can't imagine what that's like. But we trusted Montana, and whether that was blind faith or not, we still trusted Montana, and we trusted what our lawyers were telling us, and we trusted, I mean, we read through, I don't know how many stories that we would go through and read.
Oh, the stories on the website.
Yeah.
Lifelong website definitely helped us through the tough times.
Because I mean,
I love that. And now you're one of them.
Like, yeah, it just seems like
we're not the only ones that are struggling.
yeah, like there's no. I mean, you like to think there's a smooth process, but it seems like in almost every story, someone hit a snag along the way, or there was a small setback here or there, and so like reading those and knowing that like, okay, this just is a snag. We'll work through it.
Sure.
I think helped us stay positive through the whole thing. And obviously, I mean, yeah, I guess that's kind of what I would say is just trust the process, and you know, you kind of got to take a blind leap of faith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always say like the whole adoption process is like lots of little leaps of faith along the way, and you just have to trust your gut a little bit sometimes, and
Yeah.
hope
Well, you
for
have
the
to
best.
just trust that whatever's meant to be will be. And I know that's like so annoying to probably hear when you're going through it,
Yeah.
but you really do have to just trust that everything's going to work out. And you guys did, and it worked out.
Yep.
Yep. Like, I mean, we the first mom that we were matched with where it didn't work out, like there was, I mean, for a couple weeks after that, Candice and I kind of were just like, did we just blow our only shot? You know, but like we had
Yeah.
we had good, we had a great lawyer that did the initial interview and just told us based on her, you know, professional opinion that it probably wasn't a good fit. And so just like, I mean, even that, like we just kept saying after that, did we blow our chance? Did we blow our chance? But we just said, no, we have to put faith that that wasn't meant for us and that the right one is out there. And obviously we now have Harper, and I mean, she was worth everything. Like I said, one day we'll tell her the whole story of everything, and you know, the 10-hour drive down there and everything that, you know, we went through when we got down there. I mean, even just Candice and I had a suitcase full of newborn clothes, and Harper was 4 pounds and not going to fit in newborn clothes. So like just even trying to find like, like even trying to find preemie clothes, which once you come to find out, they're actually kind of hard to find. They're not,
Yeah.
No, they are.
yes, they're not
So-
easy. Like,
Yeah, my son was 2 pounds 12 ounces, and when he was born, and then they were like, you can bring
Wow.
clothes in, and I was like, okay.
Well, you're
So-
lucky you have a girl, because I feel like it's easier to find things for girls because you can do like dresses.
Yeah, there's even less.
and they fit even if they're a
Yeah.
little big. But boys, it is harder to find
yeah.
preemie stuff for boys because my nephew was.
We found
really
the
small.
tiniest preemie clothes we found. I want to say was at Walmart actually, which we were surprised by. But
Yes.
it was so funny.
yeah,
'cause
that's
yeah, right? Because, like, I don't know why, but they had the teeniest ones that we could find. And it's so funny because I would get really annoyed with zippers because he had, you know, leads coming out of him. So I loved the snappy pajamas because then he could have it on.
Oh, you have little holes you can poke
Yeah,
through the
exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
And then as soon as we were out of the NICU, I was like, this is terrible. We should have only zippers. Like, never mind. I don't actually want to snap.
Never
snaps.
mind. In
And,
the
like,
middle of the
get
night.
all the way done and you're one snap off and you're like, this, we should throw them all away right now.
Burn them.
yes,
No, we still have them. They're so,
yes,
this
no,
little dinosaur one.
100%.
I love it.
100%. Walmart was the only place. Like we even went to Carter's. We found an outlet mall that had a Carter's. We went to, I don't even know, a couple other places, and like thankfully there was a Walmart in this little strip area where we were staying, and we found some there. And then the NICU nurses told us about this. I don't even know. This is like a little pop-up shop where people sold their baby clothes, and told us to go there one Saturday, and we did, and found some preemie stuff there. But man, that stuff was not easy, and then, like it's not like we really just Amazon it. We were staying in a hotel. So, like,
Well, you can DoorDash things to hotels, which Amanda and I have learned because the last time we tried to go out anywhere, I broke my shoe 5 seconds in.
Well, and I also DoorDashed water and candy and then found it out there and I fell asleep.
Okay, we met Melissa Etheridge that night and we were really excited. And then we were up and we were excited
And
about
thirsty,
it. And then we
apparently.
just crashed and we woke up in the morning and it was just outside our hotel room door. We were like, what is this? And it's
All
freeze-dried candy and 3 different kinds of water. We probably shouldn't tell these stories on the podcast. Just
Somebody
in case
can
anyone out
relate
there,
to them.
someone out there is thinking about DoorDashing stuff while you're, picking up your baby. They have other things too.
Yes.
Or freeze-dried candy.
Well, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time to tell your story, and I hope Harper is sleeping tight because I know
Yeah.
it's bedtime.
Bedtime.
Yeah, but thank you so much, you guys, and keep in touch. Send us cute pictures of Harper.
Yes, please.
Thank you.
But
we
thank
will.
you so much. Thank you guys again for everything you did along the way. Because, like I said, you might not think it, but just having the stories on your website that we could read through was so helpful for us, and all the steps, and even your packing list. Even though we didn't really get to pack according to your packing list, but just just those little things.
We all know Candice didn't.
Right. Socks. That's why
Yeah.
I
But
socks.
just all those little,
Well, I hope
You just
they
all
never
those
know
little
what you're
tidbits
gonna
that you guys had, and
Aw.
it was super helpful for us, and at least made a super stressful situation not so stressful. So we appreciate that all.
Well, you guys were amazing to work with from
Yeah,
start to finish.
it's a privilege to be a
yeah.
small part of anyone's family, I think. So,
Yeah.
And
now you're part of the lifelong
enjoy
family.
being
Thank you.
moms. Yeah.
You and Candace match, by the way.
I know. We're both green
I just
girlies.
realized.
We're besties. I love
Well,
it.
you guys enjoy the rest of your evening, and hopefully we get pictures of Harper soon.
Yes. Have an awesome night, guys. Thank you so
We
much.
will. Thank you
Bye.
guys.
Ladies. All right. Bye. And then I think we'll probably have another family soon that we're gonna do.
Yeah.
I love kind of bringing. I know she was talking a lot about the stories on our website, and I feel like it's so cool to kind of bring them to life and be able to hear people tell them in their own words. And what I love so much about our stories in the first place is they're not sugar coated, but it is nice sometimes to hear a bit more context or to hear the story told.
No, I think it helps people feel like they're not on an island by themselves. I think it can be difficult thinking that this is only happening to you, but to see that it happened to other people, but then they are now successful and they've adopted, and I think that that's helpful for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, please join us again. Thanks so much for joining us today.
Bye.
Bye.